Hi, Salim Omar here from CPA Marketing Genius. Welcome to episode number 9. In this episode, we're going to talk about building a championship team, and we're going to do a deeper dive into creating a winning culture. And this is within the framework of the Genius model, the 3 areas that you as the owner want to pay attention to: client attraction, streamlined operation, and then building a championship team. So today this episode's about building a championship team, creating a winning culture. So what is a winning culture? And I've been referring to it lately as a practice culture. Practice culture represents the collective aspects that makes a practice unique. It includes all acceptable firm-wide beliefs and behaviors, from what everyone in the office wears to how you address one another. Is it Mr. or Mrs.? Is it first name basis, or is it your buddy? A practice culture speaks to the encouraged culture of a practice. For example, in some organizations, team members are encouraged to see one another as competitive rivals, and coming to work can feel like an episode of Survivor. In other companies, there's a theme of sharing, where everything is transparent and team members are required to cooperate as partners. In my firm, we've created a culture that is very collaborative and fun and enjoyable and friendly, where ideas are encouraged and welcome, and it's very open and transparent. A very high-performing culture where team members are expected to perform at the highest level. What's the culture like at your firm? How would you describe the culture at your firm? And I want you to be thinking about that. It's a rhetorical question. So practice culture defines how business is done and embraces the values and the goals of a practice. Now, a practice without practice culture flounders. It lacks clarity, it lacks direction, it doesn't have engaged employees. I see my practice culture as my biggest asset. It is the driver that leads to 5-star client service. It is the driver that leads to the practice being successful. It's the driver that allows me to live the life that I want and to work as much as I want, and then so forth. So practice culture is really important, in an organization, and it requires us, and that's why I created it as a practice accelerator within building a championship team. Now, you as the owner, the leader, are the creator of your practice culture, and you can set the tone for everyone in your team. Now, it's an awesome responsibility, but not one that you've got to fear after you watch this episode. So the way to create a practice culture is through core values. Now, in business and in our personal lives, most of us are guided by a set of internal rules that guide us in making decisions and taking action. In business, various phrases are used to describe these rules, including core values, guiding principles, operating principles. The label really doesn't matter, but I prefer core values. Core values outline how a business works and what it stands for. They also provide a shouldn't test for decisions and behaviors at every level of a practice. A couple of things when you're thinking about core values. They're permanent in nature. It's important to understand that core values are permanent in nature, in that they act as a guiding light, holding a company steady in the midst of changing markets and evolving business. Our core values also keep us true to ourselves and allow our clients and our team members to continue to recognize us in the face of change. Every CPA practice should have a statement of core values or operating principles. It should be simple, easy to understand and remember, and based on common sense. So, how do you go about creating core values? Here are some of the keys. Your statement of core values is a wonderfully free-form creation. A rigid process isn't necessary. Number 2, don't expect to write your statement of core values in one sitting. It takes time. For it to be effective and valuable, it should be carefully considered tested, and revised. A common question I get from practice owners is how many core values should I have in my firm? Ideally, it's between 5 and 10. Make it a point to revisit your core values on a regular basis. And I'll give you an example of mine sitting right here in my conference room where I'm shooting this episode from. And you see that they're sitting right here on a wall so that they're visible to myself, to my team, to the clients that are coming in. Now, I shared earlier that core values are not static. They are to be looked at, they're to be revisited on a regular basis. So one of my core values is treating each client like your most valued guest. And in a few minutes, I'll share with you how that's evolved in the last few months. Now, I'm going to share with you how to go about creating core values in your organization. I recently helped a firm doing that. It was very productive and fruitful exercise. I'll walk you through that. Have your team members collected, together in your conference room in a common place, and have them write down their most important belief in various categories. And these categories are clients. What is their most important belief for that? So I believe clients are what? Have them fill that out, right? So each of these categories that I'm going to share with you, have your team members write down I believe, and then they will write down what is their most important belief surrounding that category. So the categories are clients, communication, co-workers, procedures and processes, leadership and leaders, community, growth and learning, business success. So again, have each of your team members write down what is their most important value surrounding that category. And so you'll have all the people write theirs, and then through a voting process, you collect and you select the ones that came up the most frequently. And that's your first set, a raw draft of your first set of core values. So how does the creation of the core values help you create the practice culture? How is that all connected together? By living your core values on a day-to-day basis. So during your company meetings, you talk how your company or how your team members are living the core values. Their action and the action and behavior that is aligned to your core values should be noticed. It should be shared, and the more something is noticed and shared, the more it starts to live. Now, earlier on I shared that the core values, it's an evolving process. So my core value that I shared with you was, and that's hanging on my wall, is treating each client like your most valued guest. And as we were meeting with my team, that evolved into what is currently our core value for number one, which is each client should be treated like family. And the reason we started changing that and talking about it is when it's a valued guest, it's a shorter term relationship. When it's family, it's a longer term relationship. And we wanted to live and view our relationships with our clients as very long-term relationships. So we made that small tweak. Again, core values are not static. They have to be discussed, and they've got to be a weekly, a daily thing where you're making comments and you're observing and saying, hey man, you really lived core value number 3 at its best. I really appreciated that. So you as the owner are recognizing and appreciating the core values that are being lived and that are being lived at a higher level. Here's a quick example of how I encourage and recognize one of my team members. One of my clients recently created a new studio for their business. It's a growing, successful business, been in business for many years, and they created a new studio. One of my team members took the time, the initiative to attend an event that this client was holding at the studio on a Saturday, and took with her a nice present, a gift, that the client really appreciated. And so this was something that that came up during a weekly meeting. It was recognized, it was talked about, and it was the team member was appreciated for that gesture in living the core value number one, which is treating each client like family. So as a recap, if you want to create a practice culture and want to be intentional and strategic about it, and we want to create a practice culture that is going to enable you to create a lifestyle practice and a successful practice, then you've got to create core values. And core values are guiding principles, operating principles. They are the beliefs that you create as a team, as a group, in each of those categories that I mentioned, and then you start to you live those core values, and so that they're being lived at a higher and higher level.
Thanks for watching this. Hope you found the information useful. Please share your comments in the section below. I personally read each and every one of them, so would love to hear from you. Also, you may want to take advantage of a free strategy session where I do a deep dive with you about your practice and really create a roadmap, a game plan that's going to help you take your practice to where you want to take it to. In order to do that, please click on the link below and look forward to conversing with you.